worms between like snowy patches in the backyard. You know, you get a nice day where the ground warms up. But it's entertaining. I do enjoy it. We got a bird feeder out in the front. It's with a shepherd's hook on it. It's a shepherd's hook, like you hang plants. And I got a squirrel plate on it, so they don't get it. And I put the suet and the seed bell over there, right in front of the picture window. So while we're in the, watching TV or something, you look out and they're all out there. A lot of woodpeckers this year. A lot of woodpecks. The downies, the flickers, a lot of flickers. I think there's a ladderback. There's quite a few different species, and they love the suet. They get right into that suet. So a little bit of entertainment. The squirrels, they come and they go. They're not hibernating this year, so they come out foraging for food. And once the ground freezes up, they can't dig in. So they look up at the feeders, and there's no way they're getting in the feeders. It's just I got them hung too high, and they're on a piece of like number 14 wire, so they can't even see it. So they got like horse vision. But in any case, it's entertainment. Keep them fed, and they come back in the. They live in the spring too, in the summer, and you get different types of birds. You get a lot of cardinals here now, but yeah, the golden fishes, they disappear. But then again, too, we have the Cooper's hawks. So everybody is in the food chain here for sure. And 1XCW and 1SNG.
And 1XZW. Well, hope you're still hearing me, Glenn, because the noise is getting level with your signal here. It's getting tougher and tougher. Yeah, we've got the woodpeckers. We've got the small downy woodpeckers. We've got the giant woodpeckers, and we've got the flickers, all three. And I've got a big double suet cage. It's built like a regular bird feeder with the cage around it to keep the squirrels out. And it's set up in such a way that the big woodpeckers have a long enough neck that they can reach in and grab it. And the small woodpeckers can climb right inside the cage and eat. So we usually get the suet in the 10-count box or the 18-count box. And that way we're not every week going to get suet, because certain times of the year that stuff goes fast. It slows down in the winter. But certain times of the year, well, I'll tell you when it really goes fast is the summertime. Because I take down the seed feeder. You're not supposed to, use conventional bird food in the summer, they say. I take down the seed feeder for the summer. A lot of the birds refuse to go search for food, so they all migrate to the suet feeder. And yeah, you go by the suet feeder, and there'll be 3 or 4 sparrows inside the cage picking at it. And that's when you really start going through suet in the summertime. But once you're feeding food, and it's just the particular birds that really like suet, that are eating the suet, then it slows down. A couple of blocks of suet will last a week or two, I could put 4 in a week if I want to, keep it in there all the time. They go through it like unbelievable. Anyway, I hope you're still hearing me. It sucks here. This noise is driving me nuts. If you're as low this time as you were the last time, I'm going to throw my headphones on. It'd be easier to filter with the volume turned down and the RF gain turned down, and use my internal filters to get the words, because this noise is just unbelievable. N1SNG, N1XZW.
Maybe 3 of them more.
Yeah, there's There's a respectable signal there. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I'm losing Charlie. And Charlie's signal went right down, so I don't know if you can hear me, Perry, but you're just pounding in here. And usually this time of the morning we have a very, very light signal between each other. We're only, I don't know, 9-10 miles apart here, and it just it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough, and then some mornings it's fine. I heard him on yesterday afternoon, and it was like he was in the backyard. So, good morning, Perry. Yeah, your dad was in here a little while ago. He's out ham hunting, and he's got a few rounds to make, and probably going to go back to 160. We're just talking about the birds, things go here. Me and Charlie. So over to you, Perry. W3MMR N1SNG.
Hey guys, good morning. Just getting moving. Yeah, I hear both of you great. Both of you guys are pounding in here, but guess you guys are a little too close this morning. Yeah, I guess my dad's on 40 meters. He texted me at like 4:30 or something. And I wasn't up though, so I guess I missed him here. So how about that? Anyway, yeah, it looks like it's 28 degrees here. We might get some freezing rain this morning at some point. It says on my phone that it's snowing outside, but it's not snowing outside. It's far from it. Pretty dry, but it is awfully cold. Anyway, good morning, Charlie, Glenn. Hopefully the band holds up between you two. If not, we'll figure it out. And I gotta get an IV drip of this coffee in me. N1XEW with M1SNG. Oh, Jesus. Excuse me. W3MMR. Good morning, guys.
W3MMR M1XEW. Well, Perry, I got headphones on, so I got to tell you that yawn was right up front and personal. I just put the headphones on because it's a proven fact that the filters in your brain are better than most filters. Like these digital speech filters that you can put on speakers and stuff. And in order for those filters to work, that has to be the only sound going into your head so that you can lower the audio to a minimum and your brain can sort the words out of the static. And it works for me. I mean, I do that whenever I want to continue a QSO and conditions just don't want to allow it. And unless somebody completely goes away, I can muddle through if I put the headphones on and drop the volume way down. Anyway, we were talking about the birds, and we got oodles and oodles of birds. Oh yeah, and I feed 8 squirrels too. In the wintertime, I usually have 8 squirrels. They get hit by cars and whatnot, but then there's new ones born every year, and Glenn, this year and last year, 2 years in a row, I had a pair of robins successfully raise their family in a nest that they built on the metal framework under my solar panel that I used to charge my batteries here in the shack. They built a nest on the metal A-frame that the solar panels are on up on the side of the house. And two seasons in a row, they successfully raised their young there. And it was kind of cool to watch them through the whole process from, the little blue eggs in the nest to the little heads poking out of the nest, because you could see right into the nest out of my son's bedroom window. And, you'd see them bringing them food, and then after a while, they'd be standing up on the edge of the nest, and they'd fly off to a tree. Then Mommy and Daddy Robin would have to go to like 3-4 different trees to bring the food to the babies, and then finally the babies, you start seeing them on the lawn looking for worms, and the whole process right here in the backyard. And the giant woodpeckers had a successful hatch this summer. They're not right here in the yard, so I didn't see them at their nest. But they came every day, and when the little ones got big enough to eat their own food, Mommy would take one and Daddy would take the other one and bring them over here to the sewer. So they had quite the summer. I mean, the birds like doubled in quantity here this year, even with the hawk occasionally picking one off. But it's really funny. You look outside and there's like 100 birds out there. 10 minutes later, you look outside, you can't find a single bird. And whenever that happens, I tell my wife they must be on hawk alert. You know, when the hawk is in the sky above the area here, they all just disappear. You can't even see a bird outside when the hawk is around. And then the hawk moves further down the river and is circling a little further away. And all of a sudden, there's, birds everywhere again. Anyway, this conversation's for the birds. Over to you, Glenn. N1SNG, N1XZW.
KB3RHR, good morning.
There he is.
KB3RHR. Morning. In a while. It's N1SNG. Got Charlie in here. XCW. Of course, Perry. And, yeah, Charlie, sounds like you got a bird sanctuary over there. And, yeah, we know when the robins nest around here because the, they like to dive bomb the cars and stuff. Something about it. But, yeah, you see a lot of blackbirds around, too. Because the Blue Jays, and they all start fighting for territorial positioning, and they end up going into the nests and having embryos for breakfast. But yeah, they are kind of nice to have around. Little tiny bird, and they make so much noise. And then they got the house wren, and then we got the Carolina wrens. We got the little tiny bird houses, and it's funny, you set them all up, and they'll build nests and all of them, one family. And, noisy as heck out there, and they compete with the chickadees. We had a bluebird once and all, but, yeah, nice to see all that stuff come back, So like I was telling Charlie, I had a pair of robins in the backyard yesterday, walking around some of the soft areas where the sun was, pulling up worms, believe it or not. But anyway, get it right over to Perry, and then over to RHR there. Again, good morning, Perry. Beautiful signal this morning. So still got a little noise going on, but what the heck. W3MMR, N1SNG.
N1SNG. In the group, W3MMR. Well, hello to Craig. I wasn't expecting to hear you. What's up, man? Hope you're feeling better, man. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Good to hear you, buddy. You sound normal. Sound okay. Sound back to up to snuff and well enough, is that what they say? But great to hear you, Craig. Slamming signal on the other side of the state here this morning. Alright, I have 2 sips of coffee in me now, so I'm starting to get the gears moving here. I don't have any bird feeders or anything at the house. I have one little bird feeder that I think I got, I don't know where I got it, a few years ago, and I put it up in the corner of the yard, and I've never seen a nest in it. It's been there for about 4 years. And yet to see a nest in it. Small little thing, I mean, it's probably, God, it can't be like bigger than, 6 inches long by 4 inches wide. I mean, the thing's tiny. But, yeah, I sometimes see some cardinals, and don't really see too many blue jays. as I remember seeing as a kid, but we still see them around here every now and then. But lots more cardinals, it seems like, down this way. Here, and obviously lots of robins and stuff during the springtime and all that fun mess. So just on the SDR here this morning, running about, what was it, 180 watts or so, 190 watts of carrier. Band's in fantastic shape here this morning. No noise to report on my end, but that can last for about 5 minutes, and the next thing you know, my radio experience is destroyed. So I always keep my fingers crossed when it comes to noise. Out to you, Craig. And then send it up to Charlie, N1XZW. It's just myself, Charlie, and Glenn in here this morning. So far. KB3RHR in the group. W3MMR. Good to hear you, buddy.
Yeah, let me get this thing tuned up just a second here. There it goes. Okay. Well, birds, huh? Yeah, I don't know. My goodness, man. Michelle feeds them. I think she just feeds them for entertainment for the cat, because the cat will. In the master bedroom, we have big bay, like kind of like bay windows, not bay, but big, huge windows, and the cat lays in the windowsill and talks to the birds. So, but she doesn't really realize that she's also feeding the raccoons and the deer and everything else. But bird story. I've seen 2 eagles. One out here and one in Tennessee. Actually, I was trout fishing in a stream, and I caught something moving out of the corner of my eye down the stream. Here was a bald eagle picking a trout up out of the water, taking it back up to this tree, and I ended up getting some good pictures of it. It was pretty cool. But that's my cool thing. I think I'll keep an eye out for them, since I've seen one locally here. So, man, what a sight! What a definite sight. I feel like honored to get to see that. So, anyways, yeah, I'm home, man. I've been home for 2 days. Yesterday and day before I got home. So, yeah, whole new world, man. Whole new world. I feel better. Getting better sleep. Feel like I have more energy. All kinds of great things are happening, but at a high price. So, anyway, that's the story. Here comes Charlie. Charlie's like Grizzly Adams of the neighborhood. N1XZW, KB3RHR and crew.
KB3RHR, M1XZW. Yeah, I get a kick out of animals. You know, I like taking pictures of them and watching them do their thing. You know, the little ones, the young ones, they like to play, and watching baby raccoons playing and stuff can be very entertaining. You know, they're very klutzy when they're young, just like baby people are klutzy. Baby raccoons are very klutzy. You see them, take tumbles and fall off fences and all kinds of things. Yeah, they got to learn how to climb. They're not born knowing how to climb. I've actually watched the mother raccoon training them in the trees, and she literally, says, "Okay, kids, follow me," and she just go up this tree, 40, 50, 60 feet up in the air. And some of them are terrified. They get up about 10, 15 feet, and they won't go no further. It takes time. It takes time for them to, lose their fear of heights and get faith in their ability to climb. Anyway, good to hear you there, Craig. At least I can hear you. I'm struggling. I've got a receive noise problem here. And you're the closest thing I've had this morning to a full quieting signal. It's just terrible. It's enough to, get you tired of it. It's like, almost like take a break from this and go do something else for a while, because it's just, the enjoyment is just sliced right out of it. Anyway, over to you there, Terry. No, wait a minute. Secretary. Over to you, Glenn. N1SNG. N1XZW.
KK4GZQ. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin. KK4GZQ. Nice signal up into Rhode Island this morning. Yeah. Okay. Got you on the list here. And, yeah, Charlie, you get the, you're on like a wildlife preserve there. I love your stories, man. It's cool. Kind of, yeah, like you say, they're the Grizzly Adams. The Grizzly Adams of West Warwick. And good morning to Craig, KB3RHR. Been a while. Sounds like you're doing well. Getting back up to speed there. Just a beautiful signal into Rhode Island this morning. It's very refreshing to hear strong signals. All right, I got Charlie in there. Charlie's too close in. So when he keys up, it sounds like I'm down by the ocean and the waves are crashing on the beach, but I can still hear him in there. And yeah, good on the eagles there. We had the bald eagles here. They've been here for quite some time. They're up around the reservoirs. I think Charlie probably has them down in the river where he is. I know there's a lot of fish down there where he is in the river. But yeah, that's a big bird. Yeah, you don't want to get one of those all pissed off. They'll pick up a small dog like it's nothing. Yeah. My brother's in Alaska, so he feeds them. He's a fisherman, so he'll take the roe out of the salmon, put it out on the deck, and he'll feed the bald eagles. I think he said he had like 12 of them out there one time. And then that night, this was at the old house. The kids were watching TV, and there was a bear looking in the window. Well, you're gonna feed the birds, you're gonna feed everything else too. So he had to stop feeding the birds because the bears were coming in a little too close for comfort. But yeah, he's way out in Kodiak, Alaska. So nature's letting you live there. That's for sure. But, anyway, I'll send it right over to Kevin. And Kevin, then turn it over to W3MMR. I believe that's where it's going to go. KK4GZQ to take it. N1SNG. Good morning.
Okay, Glenn, let me see if I can cover some ground in just a short period of time here and get it on over to Perry. Good morning, Glenn. N1SNG with the group, KK4GZQ this morning on the BC610G here, the old mousetrap. Kind of looking things over here on my first transmit to make sure I've got my plate current and SWR where it needs to be. I think everything looks good here, including the 614 speech amp here. Anyway, first off, good to hear Craig back on. Big signals down from PA this morning, Craig, and tried my best to kind of keep up with you a little bit and was, naturally very concerned. Glad to hear you back on the air this morning, Craig. And Perry, good morning to you. Good morning, Charlie. Glenn. Who else is here? I think that's about it that I've heard so far. But you guys must have got from Craig to Perry to anywhere up toward Connecticut. I'm going to say all you guys got some pretty good snow, huh? Anyway, Perry, here it comes your way. Listening to you on the R392 this morning, and got a haircut scheduled here for about 8 o'clock, so we're going to get out the door pretty early. And we're getting ready for a little snowfall here and some pretty cold temperatures, so I'm going to go ahead and winterize my pumps on my pressure washing machines that I've been using here recently, and get some antifreeze in the pumps. Here comes Perry. I kept it too long. W3MMR, good morning all the way around. KK4GZQ.
You didn't keep it long enough. So we were trying to... I'm writing still. What's up, man? KK4GZQ in the group W3MMR. All right. Good morning. Oh, yeah, Craig, great to hear you, man. Glad you're feeling better. At a cost, you said, but, I mean, it sounds like put you on the right path, man. So hopefully things stay the course, man. Yeah, you had us all pretty worried, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. That picture that went around circulating, you weren't looking too good in that picture, man. I didn't even know that was the same person, to be honest. So I'm really glad you're back out, man, and feeling good. And back with the crew. And hopefully it stays that way, man. Great signals all the way around. Kevin, you're as strong, or if not stronger, than Craig here this morning. BC 610 sounds absolutely fantastic, as always. As far as winter, winter temps, precipitation, all that kind of stuff, well, we didn't get any snow. I mean, it was astonishing how much snow we didn't get the other day. I guess it was Sunday. Monday or whatever. My dad, I guess it was Monday morning, we're all expecting the snow, whatever. I thought we were going to get like 1 to 3. He was going to get about 6 inches. He messages me. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, still barely even started yet. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, he texts me. He's like, man, we got 6 inches so far. I'm looking outside, there's no snow. I'm like, what do you mean you got 6 inches so far? And he just literally, I guess I was looking at it on the radar. I guess the cold front was, really strong, and it was just keeping it a little bit just below the 995 corridor where I'm at. You could see the line. It was the drop off was so sharp that my house is 2 blocks south of my work. I got more snow at my house than I did at my shop. Okay, that's how sharp the cutoff was, man. Right across the bridge, 3 miles away, they got almost 5 inches. So it's crazy how it can work. But we're supposed to get possibly some freezing rain this morning. Cold. It's going to be again, I think the low 40s today, but then tomorrow right back down into the low 30s, and more snow expected for Friday, I believe. So we'll see how that all goes. But I'm a winter person. I like the winter. I like the snow. I like it all, man. I really enjoy it. I definitely do. So also trying something new with my audio this morning. So let me know if you hear any like peakiness in the sibilance range, in the upper range, in the high end. So I've noticed something weird on last night, and I just made a recording, and it sounded like I was hearing a lot of that I wasn't hearing before, like really peaky, like sharpness. So maybe you guys could comment on that. Anyway, keep it moving here. Back out to you, Craig. Oh, and real quick on that West Virginia trip, you had mentioned seeing a couple eagles. Well, I went on a kayak trip on the Capon River in eastern West Virginia, and I saw I think 1 bald eagle on that trip, but I also saw this goose-looking thing, and I've never seen anything like it ever since. I can never find any pictures, but it was almost like the size of a goose, maybe a little between that and like a swan, but its head was black, and then halfway down its long skinny neck, it went to like white, and it had like red in its head too, like red spots, like its eyes were red, and then the rest of its body was it was mostly white, I think, if I can remember, and then there was black on its stomach, but there was red in it too. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. So maybe you guys have seen something like that, or if I'm just crazy and I had too much to handle, too much I could handle that weekend. KB3RHR in the group, W3MMR.
Okay. I don't know if that was a herring. Excuse me, I'm drinking cherry 7-Up, 0 sugar. Pretty good. That might have been a herring. I don't know. I'd have to see more of a picture of it, but yeah, you know that's kind of when you see something you've never seen before, that's like kind of crazy. Last winter, I think I saw a fisher, which is basically, I guess in a nutshell, is basically like one of those, oh goodness, man, ferret. Looks like a ferret, and the darn thing almost came up to me. It was of course, in the middle of the night, and it's funny just to see things you've never seen before. You're like, whoa. Well, Kevin, hello. I owe you a phone call. It's my fault. I've been playing phone tag with you. A lot of things going on here, as you can expect. Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, it was an eye-opening experience. I'm a procrastinator, so it almost cost me my life. So no more of the procrastinating. No more. It's all about work. I'm done with that. I'm getting too later in the years to ignore myself and continue on being the super trooper at work. So I'm going to slack off a little bit and take care of myself instead of taking care of everybody else. So yeah, I'm doing okay. I feel 100 times better. It's amazing how long I guess the symptoms had been going on, and I either ignored them or passed them off as something else or whatever, but I didn't know, so there you go. But definitely don't mess around, man. If you don't feel good or something's changing or whatever, man, go to the doctor. I'm the one that has to go when it's time to go to the hospital, not to the regular doctor. So it was not pneumonia, obviously. Like I said, I was working by myself, and my mechanic was gone. All my other guys were out doing their thing, and I was working on a piece of equipment by myself and started to get sweaty and real short of breath, and decided to come home and tried to get into some place early in the morning, which that was no avail. That's a whole nother situation or a whole nother topic. You can't get in anywhere. Normal hospital wait is ER wait is 6 hours. The Med Express places are by phone appointment only. I did get into my PCP. She did an EKG. Said get to the hospital immediately. So, in a nutshell, it was heart tachycardia, which was getting worse by the minute, and low blood sugar, high blood sugar. So, high blood sugar was the culprit for pretty much everything. I noticed about a week ago my vision was getting bad, like immediately. Of course, shortness of breath, all kinds of symptoms pointing right straight to the problem. And I ignored them, so yeah, it cost me 4 days in the hospital. So I'm doing my thing now, and shots 3 times a day, and well, definitely 100% watching my intake, no sugars. All low carb or no carb, which is, I'm used to that. That was cherry 7-Up is pretty good, but it doesn't. I don't know. I don't miss the coffee, but every once in a while I could take a little sip. But anyways, that's the story here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Good to hear you all. And yeah, I'd say that was a herring. We got the blue herrings, Perry, but we don't have. I've never seen that kind of a bird ever. So you may have seen something rare. You got to look that up. N1X is EW. And you're right, Charlie. Watching those critters, man, that's just amazing. I had some foxes here that lived under my barn, and just watching them grow up was pretty cool. They'd grab crab apples out of the tree or off the ground and throw them up in the air and play with them. Good stuff, man. I love living in the country. N1XZW, KB3RHR Group.
KB3RHR, N1XZW. Well, glad to hear you're on the mends there. I'll hang around one more go-around. You can let us know how Mom's making out with her recovery. And, Perry, I think I know exactly what that bird is. I had the same thing land in the street in front of my house. This thing was huge. I was like, how the hell did it come down without hitting any wires? It was the size of a turkey, and it had the red on its back of its neck, had kind of a long, skinny neck, and the closest thing I could find, and I mean, I spent hours looking for this bird, the closest thing I could find was a turkey buzzard. And it did look very similar to the picture of a turkey buzzard. Not exactly the same, but really, really similar. So, try doing a search for turkey buzzards, and you might have to find a few pictures before you find one that looks similar to that one, because they don't all look alike. And they are this far north. They do travel. I don't know what it grabbed. It landed in the street in front of my house and grabbed something. I don't know, field mice, rats, chipmunks, I don't know. I don't know what they eat. But it landed right in, and I was up in my bedroom window trying to get a better look at it. When it took flight, it came across my front porch right in front of the windows, and that thing was huge. What a beast it was. It was bigger than an eagle. It was huge. Like, to your point, it was, like a goose. It was a big body, like a goose or a turkey. Anyway, over to you, Glenn. N1SNG, N1XZW.
Yeah, okay. All right, Charlie. Yeah, and Kevin, glad to see you come down to the planet again there. Yeah, time to get a little proactive in, staying alive. I've had things removed.
1 2 3 4. Hello, test. Testing. 1 2. Testing. 1 2 3 4 5. Hello, test. Testing. 1 2. Test. W test. Hello, 1 2. Hello. Hello. 1 2 test. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2 3 4. Hello, 1 2. Hello, test. Hello, test. Hello, radio. Test. 1 2. 1 2 3 4. W3 MMR. 1 2 test. Hello, radio. Testing and clear.
Just order relief. Not everybody's the same, but anyway, good to have you back, for sure. The higher power was watching after you. Yep. Yeah, and the fisher cats, they're pretty nasty. They will attack you. The fisher cat. In fact, a good friend of mine, he pulled into the gun club one night, and there was a deer walking across the park, actually kind of in a gallop across the parking lot, and it had a fisher cat on it. The fisher cat was right on the shoulder flank. So they're just pretty vicious critter there. That to be have to keep your distance with those, for sure. And yeah, Perry, on that there, I don't know if that was an aquatic bird there. If you said you saw it on the pond, it was actually in the water swimming. The only thing, the first thing that came to mind was a loon. They got the red eye. I don't know. There was just so many different species of those things there. But it sounds like Charlie had one over at his house there. I know the turkeys, we've had turkeys in the backyard. And we had them up in the trees, actually. They were eating the acorns up in the trees before they even dropped. We're out in the side yard, and we'd hear all these branches breaking, and there must have been about 20 of them up in the trees, and just the weight of them were snapping off all the dead branches. And, I guess they found a place to eat, but you never know what's going to be walking around the yards these days, for sure. And
That's it.
blue herons, we have a lot of the blue herons around here. And the northern egrets, they're white. And there's also the sandhill cranes around here. If you get down by the ocean, it's a whole different planet down there. Different types of wildlife. But that sounds like a meat eater, man. Whatever it is, it'd be good to find out what it is. We've had snowy owls here, white owls. And my wife's looking out the back window one day, and she sees this thing kind of, I don't know, she's kind of doing the cha-cha-cha, and it's walking, and she couldn't figure out what it was. And so she got the binoculars, and nothing I've ever seen like that before. She looked up in the book, and when she first told me what it was, I kind of laughed. It's a woodcock, and you don't see too many of them around, but we report all that stuff to the Autobahn, and they keep it on record. And actually, we've had down south of here, we've had white squirrels. I don't know if you've ever seen a white squirrel before, but first time I've ever seen one down in Westerly. I thought it was a mink. I thought it was a mink crossing the road, but nope. In fact, they had several sightings of them down there, for sure. But anyway, Kevin, good to hear you in here this morning. Nice signals out of Kentucky. Glad everything's going all well there. The 610's just pounding in here. And I'm going to get it over to Perry and see if he's up to. I'll probably go down to 160 in a little bit if things don't shape up here. I can just about make Charlie out here with the noise level. He's really not breaking this growth. W3MMR, A1SNG.
W2SDR, good morning.
Hey, Pop. Actually, it goes over to Kevin, GZQ. So, Kevin, you go ahead, pick it up, send it to my dad, then send it to me. We'll do it that way. Good morning, Dad. KK4GZQ, W3MMR.
Okay, Perry. W3MMR with W2SDR breaking in with the group KK4GZQ and Morning Frank. Look at things here real quick. Yeah, looking good. Anyway, golly, 160 meters. I'm working on it. Eventually, I'll be there. Anyway, well, you guys are talking about a lot, and Perry said, yeah, that was the bird. You guys, I got in on the tail end of the story, but evidently, what Glenn was talking about, I think Perry agreed with that. Good deal on that. And the only bird story I got is about the time I was delivering food service in a small semi around, and I was coming around I-275 around Cincinnati, out close to the landfills out there, and I saw all the birds and whatnot flying around in big flocks, and I said, somebody, what kind of birds are those? Seagulls. I said, what? Seagulls in Cincinnati? Sounds like a song, doesn't it? Anyway, they're there. Anyway, good to hear you guys all on this morning, Craig, especially you, man. You're sounding good on the transmitter this morning. Big signal down here. And Terry, yeah, there's something in the audio. It's just not as pure as you want it. Right on those top end, it seems like it's, I don't know, maybe somebody else could explain, but it's so minute. But when you asked about it, yeah, something's not as clean as it normally was. That's about all I know to say. Craig, yeah, procrastination on your health and whatnot, I'm learning that more so here as well. And what I can do and what I can get away with doing now versus what I could do 5 years ago, etc. You know, I don't need to be jumping down off of anything like I used to be able to, or do a whole lot of climbing, etc., and so on and so forth. And I just recently got a colonoscopy, and it was good. I got a real good, clean bill of health on that, and I'm looking into taking care of my eyes, and otherwise I think I'm doing pretty well for my age. Anyway, I gotta stay at it. And Glenn and Charlie, it was interesting a few moments ago, I was standing in the hallway and had the R392 going here listening to you guys. I also had the 570 in the den listening on the 40-meter triangular horizontal loop. You guys, at times, I really picked you up, both of you up better on that loop than I do on the inverted V here, which is broadside pretty much north-south. Interesting enough. Frank, here it comes. Good morning to you. And go ahead and let me out of here. I'm going to get started on a few other things, and I am going to listen to you all. Have a good day of it. W2SDR with the group. 7-3, everybody. KK4GZQ.
Oh, okay, Kevin. 7-3 to you. Got a nice signal up this way this morning. And good morning again to I forgot all about that audio. I really haven't talked to you today. Good morning to you too, Craig. I haven't heard you. I think I heard you when I was down in the shack, but I haven't heard you up here in the studio B. I'm calling as of yet. So not sure what it goes. What's going on with Bob? Charlie, you can direct it. So good morning again, Glenn. Nice to W3MMR in the group.
And there goes the band. I had some QSB on Glenn that last go around, and then Dad, he dropped away to nothing. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to give me a critical audio report at the moment, but yeah, I'm not sure, man. It's just like this peakiness up around, in the sibilance range. I'm not sure.
Yeah, band is going very, very away, very fast, so I'll make it short, then I'll get out of here. But, well, yeah, it's a whole different world now. I went from 10 years ago doing a Pittsburgh Marathon to now being a diabetic, I guess. So, let myself go, so don't let yourself go. Whatever you do, I'll just say the heck with it. Push away from the radio. Every once in a while, go do some exercise, like I used to do 3 or 4 times a week. You just get burnt out, I think, once you hit your goals, and you're like, all right, that's good. I got everything where I want to be. And something in life just changed, and I decided that I'm done with all that for a while. Excuse me. So I'm back at it. Or will be. Unfortunately, now I'm going to have to take...
W2SDR. What's the trouble? Well, it is. What mic are you using? Well, the B1 is much brighter than the SM7. I mean, just the way the microphones are. So, if you don't change your if you're using the same transmit profile, the B1 is going to be much brighter than the SM7. Well, I think it's too bright at the top, but when you just go, I mean, there's nothing at 5K there. I mean, there's nothing to begin with in your voice there, but your sibilance is just a little too bright for me. But I've said that before about your audio in the past, that I think maybe if it sounds okay to you, it's still bright on the other end. Because maybe your hearing is such that you mix everything very, very bright up there because you don't think you have enough. But what I'd like to see is if you're using TXEQ, I'd like to see a screenshot, of TXEQ, and also a screenshot of your CFC window. And I would also, if you don't, first try putting your carrier level to 100%. I don't know where you have it. I know you like to drop it, but that could also, because that adds distortion when you lower it down. There's no two ways about that. No, I wouldn't do that. I put that back where it was. That's not going to do anything. But where you're peaking is around that 2 to 4 kilohertz. That's where it is. Every time you say an S, it shoots way up there, and I can see it in your CFC. What I would do if I were you, that CFC. Okay, so you save the screenshot in case you want to go back, okay? But I would flatten out both the comp and the post. You see 1250 on each one is flat, okay? I would flatten out everything above 1250 and above, completely flat. So that means you're going to have to knock down 3 of those sliders on the comp, and also 4 of those sliders on the post. Bring them all down to flat. Yeah, it's much better. You have a lot of sibilance up there. It must be in your voice, so you don't need all that boost. And I think when you talk a lot of times, you seem to accentuate that sibilance extra when you speak. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it smoothed it out a whole lot. You just don't need that boost up there. And you also have to remember, you see, when you cut those low end frequencies, it's like boosting the upper end too, because you don't have the bottom, so it makes the upper even sharper, you see. So that's why, especially on AM, you want those all flat at the top. And because you've probably got the presence switch boosted up in the microphone. Okay, so you just had way too much up on the top. That SM7 doesn't need any boost in the top. If you cut out those mud frequencies, especially if you have the switch switched on at the microphone, so it's much smoother now. Well, I just recorded it. Only about 20 seconds at the end. I'll send it to you. But I think it sounds fun. I always thought I had mentioned that to you before about brightness at the top. But I mean, don't pay attention to what people tell you. Okay, because they're going to tell you you don't sound as good as yesterday. You don't know what they're doing. You be the judge of that. Okay, and but you definitely don't need any boost on that top end, and I think it sounds fine, period. I mean, I'll send it to you and see what you think. I don't think it's changed. Your audio has changed. I don't know your audio before you just adjusted it, but the way you started out this morning is like you always sound. Because I got a pretty good ear, I think, and I would have mentioned it to you. There was something with your audio, but you've always had very bright top end, and if you start asking people is it sound bright, they're going to all of a sudden now it sounds bright,
And 1SNG standing by.
Yeah, I'm doing the recording now. Glenn, you pick it up.
Here, W2SDR. W3MMR.
Yeah, audio reports are kind of tough at my location. I mean, if there's something like feedback or really lows or highs, maybe I can comment on that. But other than that,
with the equipment that I have here. I'm just listening to a set of David Clark's. I can only, historically tell you, it doesn't sound the same or something's changed. But Perry, you sound great. Frank, I don't think his audio's changed in years. Just always sounding great in here. Good amount of power to back the audio. And the SDRs really sound fantastic. So, not to say I'm a trained ear or anything like that, but even receivers, every receiver's different. I mean, I have boat anchors here. I don't have any laboratory-grade instruments to measure anything. But, it's the traditional sounding good, sounds really good, and so on and so on. So just running a Valiant here with a D104, and I don't know if you call that somewhat of a stock, how it sounded 50, 60 years ago, but if you get a good copy of me, that's fine. I used the B1 Behringer with the B&W 5100 because I was getting a lot of feedback with that one there, with the D104s. So the B1 kind of smoothed that out, but that didn't, solve the problem. It's just to get it back on the air with some respectable signal in audio. So anyway, I'll get it right over to Frank. And Perry sounded good. And Frank, you're also sounding good down at Rhode Island. There it is, 28 degrees. Got a heat wave going on. W2SDR and 1SNG.
All right, I just sent you the email. See what you think. Perry, over. I have to be careful of that sibilance. The SM7 has plenty. You don't need any boost at the top end at all. Any boost above 800 on CFC or TXEQ. No boost if you're going to scoop that much mud out. So you got to remember, if you cut the lows, it boosts the highs automatically. Because when you don't have the lows, the highs are louder than the lows. And that's exactly what happens. So very few microphones need boost at the top end on AM. Very, very few. They just need the mud cut. That's all. No boost on the top. It's not like sideband where you want to really cut through. So with the SM7 or especially the B1, you don't want any boost at all above around 800 hertz. And you just want to scoop out a little bit of mud, and that's all you have to do. And I'd stay away. I know you like to get those positive peaks, but I'd stay away from that carrier level because that adds distortion. There's no question about it. It makes you louder, but it definitely adds distortion because it accentuates positive peaks that aren't there naturally. So if it changes what goes in, what comes out is different than what goes in, that's classified as distortion. So check that out. Glenn, you make a transmission, and Perry will check out his audio. And that was recorded at 10 kc, so it had plenty of bandwidth on my receiver. If there was anything weird at the top end, you'd hear it, and I think it sounds just okay now. N1SNG in the group W2SDR.
Yeah, okay. W2SDR, 1SNG, W3MMR. Yeah, don't let me cut you guys short. I know you're in the process of trying to refining the audio there. So if you need a little room there, I could just step back here for a bit. No problem at all. Just sipping a cup of coffee, listening to you guys. Very, very, very informative. Makes a lot of sense. And sometimes having too many controls, I guess, gets you in trouble or gets you out of trouble. Yep. But you never really did get into the the audio window things, didn't think it was necessary with the equipment that I had here. And, of course, depending on who you talk to, everybody has a different version of, adjusting and fine-tuning. But the only fine-tuning I have here is the preamp on the D104. So, but anyway, it's always room for improvement for sure. Yep. So anyway, I'll get it back over to Perry if he's not occupied there. And on the feedback, I'm wondering if there's some interaction with the position of the cables or cords intersecting with each other or something there. That's kind of interesting. I've known some guys just to back away from the microphone or move something on the tabletop. But anyway, you figure it out eventually. It's not. I do not hear anything, over the airwaves that would pertain to that. Just, you guys always have great signals. So, talk about fine-tuning the audio. It's so like you're in the room type audio. It's not like, some of the guys, there's nothing wrong with what everybody else does. But sometimes the audio is just, it just doesn't sound natural. It's like overpowered, and it sounds great. Don't get me wrong, but some of the stations out there, still in the process of adjusting or whatever, running a lot of power. Always respectable signals. It's just fine tuning to where it's I don't know what you call it, studio grade or whatever. But hey, in any case, I'll get right over to Perry, see how things are going at his studio. W3MMR N1SNG.
N1SNG in the group W3MMR. Real good, Glenn. Good points. And yes, Dad, I just listened to the recording. It sounds much better now, I think. I think it sounds much better. I would have to agree. Doesn't sound quite as peaky, sounding. So, thanks, Pop, man, for the informative audio adjustment session. Nah, Glenn, you ain't got to go nowhere, man. We're just messing, man. I'm done with this with touching stuff here. So I guess that's the thing about the SDRs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to touch and a lot of stuff to adjust and a lot of stuff to screw up. A lot of ways to do it wrong, man. And I understand what you mean, Glenn, about the guys. Some guys have a very broadcasty, and that's not a word, but type of sound, very accentuated, man behind the curtain, as my dad likes to say. And he said this to me before. I wonder if they sound like that in real life. Like if he went and sat down in the bar, and we're sitting here talking to the guy, does he sound like that? Does he talk that way? Always wondered that. So I have a tendency to. I used to like that real, Urban Optimide, very, kind of compressed, very upfront and loud, in-your-face type of broadcast audio. But the more and more I do it, the more and more I like the more natural, sounding, very clean, very, like you said, Glenn, if I'd imagine, if I was sitting in the room next to you, that's how I would want myself to come across, And Glenn, you always have a great signal down here, whether it's on AM or whether it's on 160 or 80, man. And I'm just glad I can get on 160. I've been having so much fun with 160 meters this year. So much fun getting use out of this little antenna of mine, and just the fact that it works. I can get out, I can be heard, and I can hear others. So I'm very happy. And audio is a very subjective thing, obviously. You know, some people can be on the same page like us with how we want it to sound, but other people, you know, they like the big boomy bottom end, the very unnatural sounding 60 hertz type bottom end, 70 hertz bottom end. And, I used to be the same way, but like, you know, taste change. And real quick, I'll send it right over to you, Dad. I have a bunch of, you know, cables everywhere behind my desk, obviously. And, you know, I'm back there, you know, plugging like a wall wart or moving things around every now and then. So maybe that's what, you know, I maybe move something around. That's why I'm getting into my speakers a little bit. I mean, I get so much RFI in here because of how close my antenna is to the shack. It can, it'll be a never-ending battle until the day that I move. So, back over to you, Pop. Signals are great down my QTH. W2SDR with N1SNG, W3MMR.
Okay, so you're sure that those switches are in your microphone are all flat? Because I know a lot of times I ask you and you say you can't see them because it's got that cover on it.
I do have the cover on it, but from what I can remember, they're all flat, but I will remove the cover. I have a screwdriver in hand.
Yeah, remove that, because that's going to affect everything. The other thing is with audio, guys, is that there's a couple things you got to consider. If you think somebody's audio is too bassy or too trebly, you have to also think that maybe that's how he wants to sound. Do you see what I'm saying? So what you're doing when you're giving him an audio report is that you have to clarify okay, you sound very bright. Are you going for a bright sound? Because if you are, you got it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand that if you think he's real bassy, maybe he's going for a bassy sound. So you have to take that into consideration, because it's human nature to think it's like, well, I want to give the guy an audio report based on what I think he should sound like. Well, maybe that's not how he wants to sound, how you think he should sound. You see, so not too many people keep that in mind. And but I know what Perry's talking about. We've talked about that before, about people that have this broadcast type voice. Do they really sound like that in person? Like, yes, Glenn, it's 42 degrees here and partly cloudy, you know. Do they really talk like that in person? You know, with this persona that they're emitting, you know? So, you know, who knows? It's all good. It's all fine. But I'd like to know where position that switch is in, because that's going to make a big difference. If you've got that switched on, then it's going to change everything. So, which is okay. But if you're going to run the switch on, then you got to adjust your EQ accordingly. But you know, it's borderline bright right at the moment. And I think if that switch was switched on, if you knocked it down, it would make a pretty big difference. So we'll see what happens with that. So real quick, Perry, where's the switch?
It's on.
Okay, shut this. I knew it. I mean, I'm very familiar with that.
Blah, 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 blah.
And that's what I was hearing. So what that does, when you throw that switch on, it puts a big peak around 2K. So put it flat.
It is now flat. This is gonna. Hey, Size, how's you guys doing? W3MMR.
I'm sorry, the band took a dip. What are you trying to say?
I'm being a jackass is what I'm doing. Nothing. I switched it. It's switched off now. W3MMR, hopefully out of a fade.
All right, I'm going to need more audio, and so let's make it go around there. So, you know, it's hard for me to tell while you're laughing or say a couple of words, but I knew that switch was on. So now it changes everything at this point. Okay, with your voice and the way your sibilant sounds naturally in your voice, the way it comes out of your mouth, you don't need that switch. If you had a mellow voice with very subdued sibilance, that's what that's for. So we'll see what happens as we go around, and the band may be starting to change a bit. So, and you're not that strong all of a sudden now. So we'll see what happens. M1SNG in the group W2SDR. You still copying it okay? Because it's getting late here, so the band may start to go away between us, Glenn. Over.
W2SDR M1SNG with W3MR. When you keyed up there, Frank, I actually had to turn the RF gain down because, you're right, the band is definitely changing. Perry's signal dropped back a little bit there. But in any case, I can hear you, both of you 100%. As far as any accurate readings from an R390A, might as well forget it. It's just what I can hear. And I'm listening on a pair of H10 David Clark phones. They do a pretty good job, directly out of the R390A. And as far as room listening, I have a 12-inch University duplex speaker. It's probably out of the late 50s, 60s, in a big General Electric cabinet. Old school, but I'll tell you something, it does the best job of reproducing a voice. It's very, very natural. It's got a little treble control on the side, but it just, it's very, very lifelike sounding. So that's what I use. To fill the room with audio is asking a lot, I think, sometimes. And the Don Pardo voice. Yep. Yeah, for each his own. Yep. And in listening over the years, and not to get into a critical audio assessment, but let me get you guys out there, like when I first met Jerry, I forget his call, but he's very, very soft-spoken, and I thought like he might have been running a lot of bass, or whatever frequency, but it's the way he sounds. That's his voice, It's everybody has a different voice, but. Yeah, his is very, very low, and it sounded like he might have had his EQ adjusted a little differently, but he comes to the conclusion that that's everybody's voice flows on a different level, and some of the guys have very, very high type voices, could say high frequency. I don't know, but in any case. It's interesting, when you guys are in here. I'm gonna drop it and let you guys continue on. But it makes a lot of sense what you're talking about. And once you're set and you've got it adjusted, unless something is way out, you hit the sweet spot. So W3MMR M1SNG.
A1SOV. Yeah, we got a guy opened up on 1880 now too there, so I'm going to have to narrow my up. Good evening, good morning, SOV. Go ahead, Perry.
WA1SOV with W2SDR, W3MMR. Okay. Good morning. Yeah, I see it signal down there on 80 there, so not strong here with my little weak short antenna. But good morning to you, Pete. Great signal down into Philadelphia area this morning. Name's Perry. W3MMR is the call. What we got here? Yeah, well, hopefully, I got the high cut switch off now, so hopefully, maybe we'll see what kind of difference that makes. But yeah, so I don't really have too much to comment on this this go around here. So let me see. Get it over to you, Dad, and then you can send it up to Pete, WA1SOV. I'll probably stick in here for another one until the band starts to fade away. W2SDR in the group. from W3MOR.
Okay, well, I was just recording you there, but let me, so you're going to sign out, Perry?
No, I'm gonna stick around probably one more or so till the band goes away.
Okay, because, well, it's not going to go away between us. What I want to do is I'm going to reboot here because of this dumb Audacity thing, and get another recording of you with the new switch position. So go ahead, Pete, pick it up. Good morning, WA1SOV and the group W2SDR.
Yeah, good morning, Frank. W2SDR and the group. That's WA1SOV. Pleasant to hear everybody on this morning. Let me just touch up the tuner here. There we go. Anyway, nice signals in here, Frank. You're just rocking and stomping onto the Hammerlin SP600, and Perry, you're doing quite well from the Philadelphia area, and Glenn, strapping away, man. So good to hear you all having an audio debate. I agree. I heard you talking there, Frank. I think, lots of times people do what they want to do because they like the way it sounds to them. But it's always got to be built off the voice, right? So you can only do so much with the voice. Anyway, I'm running the homebrew pair of 813s this morning. A little chilly out in the garage, so I didn't want to bring up the RCA broadcast rig. But anyway, Sandy Hook, Connecticut calling. This is WA1SOV. I think it goes over to Glenn, right? N1SNG in the group WA1SOV.
WA1SOV, N1SNG. Very good morning to you, Pete. Just blasting in here. I had a throttle back the local gain control on the R390A. Yeah, and you got a little hum in the back there, but I think that's just characteristic of the setup that you have there. But it's nothing intrusive at all. But nice strong signal here. The R390A is registering, but with a lot of inaccuracy, so I'll just say loud and clear. For sure. Yep. But temperature's rising here. It's 30 degrees here now. I think we're going to get some rain today, and see how that works out. It's going to be an indoor day. Probably spend a little more time down here in the shack. I think I want to get a better ergonomic assessment of how I have things laid out here. Microphones, I've got transmitter on one side, and the microphone's on the other side going back and forth. So I've got to come up with a better situation than that. Just too many cords going across the tabletop. What's left of it. But once it's all together, it seems to work just fine. Yeah, running the Valiant this morning, and using the D104. Oh, just a bunch of old stuff. So anyway, I think it's going to go back over to Frank, and good assessment on everything that's going on with the audio, and just always a learning process, and what you want to achieve based on personal preference and so on. So I'll get it right over to you, Frank. W2SDR and 1SNG.
Still hearing that guy. There we go. It's a little bit better. Throw a little bit of wattage that you guys here. Boy, you've really come up here, Glenn. So this is a little bit of a a boost, a gray line boost as we get close to sunrise here. So the last gasp, last hurrah before the band starts shortening up here for sure. So there you go. Well, it's good hearing you, Pete. Very strong down this way. You were over 20 over that time, Glenn. So the band's really peaking up for you guys up north there. W3MMR, and I'll hit the record button. W2SDR in the group.
Oh, that was quick. Okay. W2SDR in the group, W3MMR. Yeah, that station on 1880 is very weak here. That's the only thing about this 125-foot doublet is, I get out okay on 160. I put a signal out there, but I'm good, 10 to 15 dB weaker than a full-size antenna, but I've noticed most times. It's always the same on receive as well, it seems like. But Glenn and Pete, you're a good 25 over S9. I have about an S8 noise floor here this morning, so I always like to preface it, include the noise floor when I give people signal reports, so give a little signal to noise ratio. But anyway, just on my SDR here this morning, Apache Labs Anon 200D, and running about 170 watts. 160 watts of carrier here out of a single 3-500Z linear amplifier. But yeah, audio is very subjective. I always try to give people, as honest a report as possible, because I know you guys hear it too, and somebody sounds like complete butt, and people, oh, you sound fantastic, man, I never heard you sound better, and I'm sitting back like, I don't know what they're hearing. But always try to be as honest as I can. And I don't know, I guess I don't really mess or change with the audio too much here. I'm just using an SM7B Pete, and the processing that's built into the Anon software, which is a 10-band parametric EQ with 10 bands of compression as well, AGC, leveler, very, very, very minimal, but it works. Great, just using an ADD converter, a Behringer UMC 202 HD, and into the PC, then into the Anon via virtual audio cable. So very, very simple setup. So keeps it small and keeps it compact, and works good as far as I'm concerned. All right, yeah, band signals, like I said, went way up. Dad, you were way down, and then your QSB brought you right back up to the top of the wave there. So, all right, back up to you, Pete, and hopefully the band will hold out here a little while longer. And the homebrew rig sounds fantastic, Pete, as always. WA1SOV in the group, W3MMR.
Yeah, W3MMR in the group, WA1SOV. Very good, Perry. Well, the Anon's doing well up here in Connecticut. Not quite as strong as your father there. He's really blasting in, but good close second. And your rig sounds very nice. I like the way you've got it set up there. Sounds good to me. Especially on the Hammerlin, which is a pretty decent AM receiver, the SP600. Well, I'm running a DBX 166A here. I have parametric EQ in 2 bands. No, I'm sorry, 3 bands, which I run into it, and then I follow up the 166 with some high-cut filtering through a graphic EQ, but I'm not really doing much with that except to keep the signal from spreading out too much, so it starts to roll about 8 kilohertz. So anyway, that's the setup here, and always has been in the ham shack. Out in the broadcast rig, though, or if I'm in Cape Cod, I have this Behringer X32 rack, which is a great little portable unit, which has every kind of audio processing imaginable, almost every kind. It really isn't meant for broadcast work, but you can tailor it to set it up that way. It's really meant for portable recording and sound support kinds of things, but it has everything in it, noise gates to compression of different types, and you can tailor it any way you want. You can change the characteristics of the way the compression works. I just love that box. It's an amazing piece of equipment, I think. It's all, of course, digital processing, but you can basically, I can emulate this board or any board. It's got peak limiting in it that you can use, or if you want classic compression, types of compression, they have emulators in there that you can do it with. So it's pretty cool unit, and it's not like some of the cheapo Behringer stuff. I have a really cheap 6-channel board, which is a piece of junk by comparison. So this thing, I think Behringer bought out Midas, which was a pretty high-end board manufacturer for recording industry, and they implemented their preamps in it, so they're very good 16-channel input preamps, and you can tailor those so many different ways. Anyways, enough of me going on that. Anyway, I apologize for the hum in the background. I have a noise gate in here right now, so it doesn't modulate when I'm not talking, but that is one of the problems with this transmitter. The Variac and other power components in the bottom of the rack rattle the thing. And while I've put isolators on that Variac and everything else, I cannot get rid of it totally. I gotta figure something out to stiffen that panel so it doesn't do this. And it's particularly annoying when I modulate, because you hear it get worse, of course, as the power supply or the Variac is drawing more current through it. This is a capacitor input filter, and I'm running about 2,000 volts on the modulators and the final common power supply, 833 modulators and the pair of 813s. Anyway, I guess it goes back over to you there, Glenn. Go ahead and pick it up. N1SNG in the group WA1SOB.
K2ORS. K2RS, good morning, Warren. Beautiful signal down to Rhode Island. I'm going to pass it right over to you. This is N1SNG. And when you're done, you can pass it back. How's things? I think you're up in Maine, possibly. K2RS from N1SNG. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Glenn and Pete and Perry. And I think maybe there's other stations in there. So yes, I'm up in Maine. It's like 15 degrees. Expecting a little mixed precip later this morning. Gonna head down to Gorham for work. Great signals. Perry, you're coming in quite loud. And you're the channel master, Pete. I imagine you're on the broadcast transmitter. And I looked up that X32 rack. Very interesting stuff. So I gather that you're possibly, I guess, Pete and Glenn, I guess you guys are both fully retired now. Congratulations to you both. So take it back up, Glenn. Thanks for letting me in there. I see that it seems the band is about to change because it's the fades. Everybody's strong, but there are those QSD fades. which usually means the band's about ready to turn over towards the daytime propagation. N1SNG, ends with K2ORS, running the 250 watts or so with a super senior up here in western Maine. N1SNG, K2ORS.
Well, okay, Warren, very good. Yeah, you're sounding very nice this morning. It's like you're right here in the room. Oh, we're up at NIFS talking across the table there. Thanks for stopping by this morning. And, yeah, it's warming up here, too. We're about 30 degrees here in Rhode Island. So, I guess there's a batch of weather headed our way, north to south. And, yeah, good on all the work there. Thanks for the congrats on the retirement. And I'm really enjoying it. It's just, took a lot of stress off the lifestyle. And, just, getting up in the morning and no alarm clocks going off, no traffic to battle. And yes. Yep, hey, after 50 or so years, it's time to finish the tour of duty and relax a little bit. Well, considering the list that I get every morning, yeah, it's a relaxation. So, anyway, great hearing you here, Warren. I'll get it over to Frank. W2SDR and 1SNG.
N1SNG, W2SDR. Well, I'm glad that guy, it sounds like he's on a rice box on 1880, so I'm glad of that. And, so, yeah, that recording I sent you, Perry, you also have to remember that you were pretty weak during that. You were only an S9 to 10 over, and, it just, band conditions were a little up and down, so... just for your information, but I think what you were doing before with that switch on, present switch, and those frequencies boosted in the EQ was just, just double duty there, so it's either one or the other, sort of. That's why I recommend, going back to where you were before with that switch in the normal mode, and I think it may balance things out a little bit better. Plus, the microphone's going to put out more output with that switch, the present switch on. So, you may would have had to make up the gain a little bit in the mic preamp. Okay, or you know what I'm saying, to because you have less frequencies coming out of that microphone with the switch back to flat, so you're going to need maybe a little bit more mic gain, and of course that mic is a little challenged anyway with output. So there you go with that. All right, all good. Warren, it's good hearing you. A pretty good signal, but the band is crowded. But we're getting down to things will probably start to fade in a bit. So I'll stick in here for just. I'm not sure where. I guess it goes over to Perry. So I'm going to turn it to Perry. And I'll stick in here for one more round. W3MMR in the group. W2SDR.
W2SDR in the group. W3MMR. Okay, yeah, real good, Pop. Good info. Yeah, we'll run it. We'll see how it goes there, and see how we like it. So we'll keep messing with it. Enough about my audio. Good morning to you, Warren. K2ORS. Good signal down here in the southeastern Pennsylvania this morning. Hopefully you're hearing me okay. I'm only running about 160 watts of carrier this morning with the Anon SDR and the Linear amplifier this morning. Real good group here, man. Glad we're getting a lot of use out of 160 here. 160 this winter. It was good conditions last night too, up on the gray-haired net. I was listening into that. The guys from the Midwest were coming in pretty good, so good conditions all the way around. Nice and quiet too locally, so very happy. So I'm going to bid adieu, say 7-3, because I don't have too much more to comment on. Kind of just going around in circles here. So I'll, at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to sit back and listen in for a while and enjoy the great signals, and really good getting in here with you guys this morning. Pop, Warren, Pete, Glenn, as always. Glenn, it was great hearing you on 75 meters earlier, too. That was almost 2 hours ago now. And we'll say 7-3. We'll catch you guys later. Have a fantastic day. If you guys get any snow this weekend, stay dry, stay safe, stay warm, because we might get some snow up and down the East Coast here. So we shall see. Back up to you, Pete. Great signal again. Rig sounds fantastic, and we'll catch you guys next time. Excuse me. WA1SOV in the fine group. W3MMR. Listening out.
Yeah, okay, Perry. W3MMR in the group WA1SOV. Hey, good morning to you, Warren. And 7-3 to you, Perry. Look for you again. Really nice signal from down that way. In fact, every time I've heard you, it's always really good audio, and your dad as well always has upstanding audio. Even on sideband, Frank, when I've heard you on sideband, you really got that thing well tuned. Anyway. Yes, Warren, we are fully retired as of the end of work on Monday. So, I'm kind of in quasi-land because I was so engaged with things over there. At least on the program I was involved in. It's a transition, so I don't know that I'm fully there, but we're getting there. Got a funeral this morning that I've got to go to, and go from there. You said you're going down to Gorham. You know, my brother-in-law lives in Westbrook. In fact, my wife's family was originally from Portland. They were transplants from New York many years ago. But anyway, good to hear you this morning. Yeah, if you look at that X32, it's a pretty interesting box. It has more in it than it meets the eye. And it's fairly complex to program the way you want, though it's not that hard. You just have to know how to manipulate that set of firmware. But once you do, it's quite something. Anyhow, good to hear your radio this morning. You're doing quite well down here on the Hammerlin SB600, so let's see, how's it go here? I guess it goes up to you, Warren, back to Glenn, maybe. K2ORS, or W, whatever the hell it is. I'm too young for a senior moment here. This is WA1SOV.
Yeah, okay, Pete. Yeah, I think it really goes to Glenn. Real short. Yeah, great to hear you this morning, and Frank doing a great job. Yeah, my signal's on dropping. Perry was very loud earlier, and he has dropped off significantly due to propagation. I think sunrise is just about happening now. I didn't really check the calendar. I haven't checked the ephemeris there, but should be happening about now. So that will make quite a change in the band. You know, you can make contact into the daytime when things are just right. It may come up again. That's a funny thing. Right before sunrise, you get the beat fading. Signals get washed out, and they come up a little bit, and they go again. It becomes sort of unstable. So, great signal with the broadcast transmitter. And Westbrook, yeah, that's very near Gorham. We ran space on the Portland campus, basically, for what we're doing. And the engineering campus is in Gorham, so it actually made a lot more sense to what we're doing in Gorham. So we're down there, got a little space, it's kind of cool. And, I'm like equipping a lab. I get to spend money. Get a lot of discretion on that too, so that's pretty cool. And I'm going to make sure that I get some tools that I can use as well, in case I feel like bringing projects in. Anyhow, and great on the retirement. Great on the retirement, and well deserved. So I'm going to get this over to Glenn. I have to do a few, I have a couple of little errands on the way to work, so I'm probably going to wind this down pretty quickly. So 73's all. Frank, Pete, Perry, and Glenn. I will probably not be making another transmission, but I'll turn up the volume as I do my morning preparation. N1SNG, great signal from Rhode Island, and the group K2ORS, Lovell, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, K2ORS N1SNG. Okay, Lawrence, and thanks for the reports. Glad you stopped by this morning. Good to hear your voice in here, son. This is fantastic. And a happy new year to you and yours, for sure. And I'm also going to say 73s. Pete, you're on the channel last year. When you key up there, man, it's like the lights flicker here. So anyway, great hearing you and you also, Pete. Hope to catch up with you later on, or maybe tomorrow morning, along with Frank. Signals have dropped off, but not 100%. But all great signals, great audio in here this morning. Kind of a hi-fi morning here. So we'll say 7-3s. I'll pass it over to Frank if he's still listening, and kind of tie the ribbons on it here. W2SDR and 1SNG. We'll be listening out.
Hold on 1 second. He got on the other radio. Just you guys can go ahead.
The band's gone out long. I'm hearing those guys in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like radio silence here, so I'm gonna jettison the escape pod. 7-3 speed.
Okay, Glenn, 7-3. I guess Frank and Perry were chatting on the phone or something. I don't know. 7-3 to all. And Warren, this is not the broadcast rig, by the way. I'm working on the antenna changeover relay on that. This is the Homebrew 813s, running about the same amount of power, so hopefully it sounds as good. That rig is transparent out to 15 kilohertz. It's amazing what kind of response comes out of that thing, that RCA rig. But anyway, I'll say 7-3, and have a good day, guys. K2ORS, W2SDR, if you're still in there, Frank, go ahead, and N1SNG. Have a good day. Catch you later. It's WA1SOV listening.
Yeah, he's on the other radio, Pete. He got distracted there, so catch you guys later. W3MMR 7-3.
Okay. 7-3 Perry, have a good one. WA1SOV.
What's happening?
on the frequency.
N1TZU. Hold on a second here. 1, 2. There we go. N1TZU. You out there, Bob? I heard you put your call out a second ago. W3MMR.
Thanks for giving me a show. Yeah, I've just been sitting here by the radio, watching a podcast on my phone. So how are you today? W3MMR. This is
N1TZU.
N1TZU.
W3MMR. Hey, good morning to you, Bob. Yeah, I was just getting up out of the chair and was down on 160 with my dad and Glenn SNG, Pete WA1SOV, and Warren K2ORS. Had a nice QSO down there. We were here on 75 meters, but the band went away. The band crapped out, so I went down to 160 for a bit, and got the day off today, so I'm about to take the dog for a walk and start enjoying my day. But I wanted to at least say hi to you, man, and see how you were this morning. N1TZU, W3MMR.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm doing okay. And I hope you're doing good. I'll take the dog for a walk, a good idea. Hopefully it's not frigid cold down your way. It's a little bit better this morning, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday morning. Right now we've got 18.5 degrees here. Yesterday morning it was -4. Definitely winter weather, so for sure. Yeah, I just got back from taking a trash run down to our friend's house down the North Havel. I usually get up real early in the morning anyway. They got a dumpster, as part of their trash pickup, and gives me a chance to get out and take a big bag of trash down and throw it in their dumpster. And often to do that for us. So it's about probably a 35, 40-minute drive down. Out of the house for that kind of thing. So, other than that, been taking a bit of a break. Getting baseboard mounted and pizza and mowing the grass. So, got that going. So it wasn't really good project. I consider that was kind of a light. So, anyways, what else would I want to cover here? Yeah, so pretty much we've got still about snow on the ground. Anyways, back to you with W3MMR.
Yeah, N1TZU, W3MMR. Man, the band's going away. Damn, it's getting a little late. It's about 7:30 here. Well, real good, Bob. Sounds all good. I hope you liked that video of that truck I did at work. A lot of people got a kick out of that. That truck was pretty cool, man. That was a fun little project. Did exhaust, front to header, back. It was all mangled and pieced up before, so I gave him a nice, all new, handmade and welded exhaust front to back. So the guy was very happy, and I thought it came out nice here. So Bob, I don't mean to cut you short, but the band is going away. Just wanted to jump in and say hi, man, and wish you well. And oh, damn it, my phone just rang too. Here we go. It's going to be a busy morning. Anyway, Bob, hopefully you're still hearing me. I'm I'm going to say 7-3, man. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning, and the band's in a little bit better shape. So I guess, yeah, it is starting to get a little bright out here. But we do have freezing rain and my match is going up. So that's another thing. We'll say 7-3, Bob. Have a fantastic day. Oh, my God, here goes my phone again. Have a fantastic day, man. And tie the ribbons on it. We'll catch you next time, Bob. N1TZU. If you're still copying me, 7-3 from W3MMR.
Yep, yeah, I'm still copying you, folks. You're probably 5, 10 over S9. Kind of fading up and down, but doing a fine job there, Perry. Thanks for giving me a shout. Yeah, you have a blessed day yourself. And have a great day off, for sure. We'll catch you another time. N1TZU, listening on the frequency.
Take care, Bob.
said there was going to be rain this morning, or freezing rain or something. So I figured I'd stay home until, it's overcast too. I don't want to go driving off the road. Suppose I could turn the scanner on and that would tell me what shape, how busy the cops are. But then again, if the weather prognosticators have been as accurate as they have been, they're all full of crap and the roads are fine. Anyway, good morning to the stations. Well, I heard both the stations down in Virginia and Pennsylvania. But I honestly can say I wasn't paying too much attention because I was busy out in the kitchen. But you're making it up here to New Hampshire. No problem. And if I don't know if you guys are listening or not, probably got to go off to work and get ready and all that horrible stuff. There are advantages to being retired. Anyway, go ahead, Scott. W1NB, W1LO. And did I hear this referred to as a net? Ooh, that's nasty.
Well, I wouldn't even have whispered the word, so you didn't hear it from me. Good morning to you, Warren. Yeah, I think 7:30. I got an early meeting, so I'm gonna cut out after this one and just stopped by to say good morning to everybody and enjoy my first cup of coffee. And I was surprised to hear the band as long as it was, but Marty was really coming in really, really strong up there. Sounded great. So maybe things to come. So yeah, I haven't gotten back on your rig. I ordered the parts, but that IFF. I also ordered 8-pin and 14-pin DIN sockets because the original ones that were in there, the sockets were built into the board. Well, somebody, when they changed those to NPE, apparently there was either a problem before or somebody thought they were a problem. They soldered them in directly, so when I pull them out, I'm going to put sockets in there, and that way they're much easier to change if they fail in the future. So, anyways, that's all. Oh, the business has been brisk. I sold three radios since over the weekend and last night. So the 570D is gone. Actually, that was a 570DG. What else is gone? The IC765 and I sold the. It wasn't a radio. I sold the remote kit. I didn't like that. It worked fine. I don't know. I just couldn't warm up to having a remote head on my desk. It just wasn't like operating the radio. I don't know. It was just me. Everything worked great. The modems worked great. The remote head worked great and everything. For some reason, I just couldn't warm up to it. So, a guy in Massachusetts was looking for one, so I sold it. So things are going good. I'm starting to see room on the shelf. So, all right, I'm gonna listen out here. Kevin, have a great day. Marty, if you're still listening, have a great day. Bill, if you can hear me, have a good day, and you too, Warren. And I will catch you all later on. W1NB. Go ahead, Kevin.
Great. Yeah. Well, you have a great day as well. And good deal selling some items. I've had a couple of people interested in items, but nobody has come forth. Let's put it that way. Nobody's come forth with a box of cash. So there it is, So yeah, good for you if you're selling some stuff. Warren, you did hear the word net, but it wasn't referring to this group. Marty had said that he was signing out because there was a net that was going to happen right about 7:30 that he was going to be involved with. and so forth. So, no, don't worry. No worries here. No net going on. And I think everybody is signed out at this point, aside from you and aside from me. And so we can't even officially be a group at this point. Well, I guess we could be a group. I mean, if you want to, maybe count in, DIY rigs and audio processors and stuff like that. But we don't normally end up doing that. So, yeah, that's all that's going on, and I'm actually kind of surprised Jamie's not in here unless we're just being entertainment for Jamie, which is very possible. Or he's really into finishing up the AM transmitter that he's been working on at the shop. We have an AM transmitter that he started building the week before Christmas, and he was hoping to have it done by Christmas, but it just didn't end up working out. And so now we're hoping to have it done by the end of this week. Is what his hope is, and my hope. And then eventually we got to get into a couple of repairs. So that's what's going on up here. So yeah, Warren, no net, and I'll toss it back on over to you. I've got maybe another 5 or 6 minutes in here myself before I need to sign out, and then head on down to the shop and get another day going of work. And so there it is. So Warren, go ahead and pick it up. W1LO. It's K2XAM. I don't think we're in a group.
Morning, guys. This is N2VJ.
There he is. He makes an appearance.
Hi, Jamie. How you doing? Well, anyway, what I was going to say is, I'm pretty large. And in the words of Arthur Godfrey in a song, by myself I could be a group. I don't know if you remember that song or not. It's about a fat chick. I don't want her, you can have her, but no, I'm not a chick. But it reminded me of that. Yeah, I'm pretty large. By myself, I'm a group. Go ahead, Jamie. Sliding down the hill. You guys probably had good weather. I guess this is a coastal storm that's supposed to have, I looked out the front door and it's actually warm and everything's dry.
Yeah, it's cooler here, not as cold as yesterday, and there's a little bit of snow on the ground, but nothing of any real consequence. So yeah, not too bad here either. And I know there's something working its way up the coast, so I'm sure by the time I get home, I think it was Friday, it was all supposed to happen. So, just in time for my drive home to screw up operating conditions for me, right? How you doing, Warren? Hi, Kevin. I'll see you when you get in. And Scott, I think you were just getting ready to go. Good to hear you guys. I'm a little behind schedule. Kevin knows I've been struggling with that weird, that ear and throat issue, kind of really cranked up over the past few days. And for the first time, since I was 6 or 7, I actually had leakage from my ear. I've never, my life, other than when I was a little kid.